So today I share with you a time when our local community came together to tell you about our friend James Koizumi.
In the upcoming 2023 PDGA Board of Directors elections, one of those candidates with us today, James Koizumi. Out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, James, a lawyer by trade, PDGA number 126027. Something of a world traveler too, James. You've played disc golf, I think, as of a few weeks ago or maybe a few months ago. You played in something like 21 countries, which is, let's just say I'm jealous already before we get started. But James, welcome. Why don't you go ahead and fill in the gaps for us, let our listeners know a little bit more about yourself.
James is one of the kindest people I know, in and outside of disc golf. He's collected stacks of discs to take to Colombia and Mexico, collecting them from friends in the city, just to help out people in those countries who otherwise wouldn't be able to play the sport. And that shows a lot of heart for someone to help grow the sport in the world.
He has huge passion for volunteering for disc golf, and it just shows how he wants to contribute to get other communities started, not just his local community in Calgary. So it speaks a lot to his character, and I think he'd make a great member of the PGA board, and I know he's got my vote. So
one of the most selfless people you'll ever meet.
He's done so much for this community, like raise our player base in Calgary to like astronomical levels, and any course that's like third busiest in the world, and that guy's your president, he's doing some good stuff.
The PDGA stands to gain just a really caring, hardworking.
No one works harder than that guy. I swear he like barely sleeps.
I just finished playing around with him with two maybe less experienced players, and he was constantly in conversation with them, asking for their opinions on what they think could be improved with the course, with local disc golf clubs, as well as even on the big scale for the PDGA. So
watching him not only with experienced players who really know the game and he can talk technically there, but also introducing it to people like my wife who've played, 2, 3, 5 games, and watching the encouragement that she found to join in and start playing to the point that she's in the ladies league this year.
I just got into disc golf 5 years ago, and loved the wild adventure that it's taken me on, starting throwing discs initially to asking questions about how can I get involved, because we play this beautiful sport often for free, and it's brought so many positives into my life as well as loved ones around me, from a fresh approach, asking questions of why can't we do things differently, taking a more professional stakeholder approach with our cities, our municipalities, our recreations, our parks departments, and then also from the membership side, realizing that this game is for everyone. This game is for families, this game is for all ages, wages, stages, and trying to find ways to share that and grow that. And I think that's kind of been the pieces of our local success.
I went from being somebody on the peripheral, playing 3 rounds, 5 rounds a year, to being involved, volunteering, playing up to 150 rounds, just willingness and more willing to get involved, just watching the crew of volunteers he brought into the community, watching his involvement and his passion for the different courses and the development of the game.
Really am passionate about wanting to take on this role is because I think there's so many great things to be able to take our game to other communities and share these opportunities for joy and connection and friendships and just a happier life around the world. And it's through this game. That's the conduit that creates this community.
Well, Al and I were on the board when James joined, and he came in like a firecracker and kicked us in the butt pretty good. But man, has he turned the disc golf scene in Calgary on its head. It's fantastic. Number of new courses, unbelievable number of volunteers, the clinics that go on all the time, and all the leagues and getting women and the junior scene going. It's been fantastic, James.
We've seen a boost in our game because of COVID, because of its popularity, because of the accessibility features and what it brings.
I've been playing disc golf every day since the lockdown of COVID started, and today is 1,184 days in a row. So that's personal best.
But I think that's just the surface. We haven't got to a lot of other communities that haven't even seen our sport. And so they are also due for a crazy amount of expansion and growth. You know, even holding this disc brings me a lot of happiness. This is certainly probably one of 3 discs that I cherish the most. I just needed to travel. It's been something that's been important in my life, connecting with humanity, you know, making sure that you stay grounded and understand, you know, parts of the world that, and the people that are there. And so I had this new tool, which I never had before when I traveled, as the game of disc golf. And so I took some discs, this was one of them. Visited a lot of countries in Europe. I've seen UDisc like everybody else. You see the dots on the map, and you gotta go, I gotta play there, and I gotta take these discs. And I did that, and crushed a bunch of countries, maybe about a dozen at that point. But on the back of it, you know, I've written down all the countries that I've played in, a couple times, a few extra states and things like that. But sort of back to the story and holding this disc, and the reason why it's one of the ones that I cherish the most is it's been with me on every trip. It just was sort of an odd singled out Luna that I had that I needed a putter. And you know, I look at the countries and I think about the people that I met. I mean, right now I'm looking at Belgium and being able to meet the Tong family, Maxime and Guillaume. Their dad started basically probably the founding person of Belgian disc golf, and now the 2 brothers are running MDG Media and doing amazing, incredible work on the European tour. Going to their house, seeing their production. You know, Colombia, of course, Colombia is very close to my heart. Meeting Ken Lukanen, reaching out to him on UDisc because he's left his phone number. The commitment that he's shown and the investment that he's put in his whole heart to bring disc golf to the country of Colombia. And you know, on the second visit, being able to go down there and be at the Paul Macbeth Foundation and help put and establish that project. That's actually Paul's signature right there. And maybe one day I'll be able to sort of circle it around there. But I was also there with a purpose. I was there to learn what other countries, what other communities, what they're doing well. You know, I think it's too easy to be focused on our own communities, our own local communities, and thinking that's the size of the world. But when you see, for example, you know, meeting Eetu Jokinen in Finland and even reaching out to the Finnish community when the first time, they're doing some incredible things in the way that they promote and grow the sport from all levels, at all ages. And I know that subconsciously or consciously, I've brought all of those lessons from these different types of communities back to our community because I'm fully aware that we don't have it all right. I think that other people definitely do things better. And if we're listening and we're learning, it's just helped us accelerate and grow disc golf faster as a community, whether that's from the course side, the community side, or the competition side. I guess those are 3 C's. But those are different ways that you're seeing communities grow and taking those things. Obviously, too, certainly with Herman running the camera, the work that's being done in Latin America, but particularly now Mexico, you know, with Raul Barcelo and MX Disc Golf, but you know, other people stepping up in huge ways to donate, grow the sport, bring awareness. It's a beautiful thing.
Knowing James, this is just the tip of the iceberg for him. The guy has such amazing energy and passion and commitment to the game and the community. I'm almost excited to see what he will bring to the whole community if he were to be a part of the PDGA board.